And welcome, everyone, into another edition of the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley. I'm Jeremy Bolker, alongside the play-by-play guy, DJ Foster, and, of course, head coach Ric Wesley. Exciting program ahead. Grand Valley, a couple of unbelievable road victories this past weekend, this past Thursday and Saturday night. Unbelievable fashion, too. Plus, we're going to have a player coming on. This is, of course, in the next 60 minutes. Juwan Stark's going to be joining us. I'm going to get to find out a little bit more about him, how he got to Grand Valley, and some of his specialty areas, too. We're excited about that. But, DJ, Lakers are playing some unbelievable basketball right now.
Yeah, 2 wins by 47 points on the road this weekend, and 2 tougher places to win. Taking on the Hillsdale team on Thursday night that was really good last year, had the player of the year, and then Walsh was 7-1, and we went in and we'll hear from Coach, but they led for all 40 minutes of the ball game, and just two great victories on a road trip that it's not always an easy place to win at either of those places.
Plus, we love DJ. He's a stat guy. There's a bunch of cool stats that we're going to share with you, including one of them, best in the country in all of Division II. We're going to share that with you as the show progresses. If you are in the area, we know the roads are a little bit icy, but you know what? They got Lake Michigan Drive paved pretty well. What that means is you can come enjoy a Jets Pizza with us. We're here till 7 o'clock. The special goes till 8 o'clock. What's the special, you ask? A large one-topping pizza for only $6. Come on out, Jets Pizza in Allendale, mile west of Grand Valley campus, and come listen to the program right here. This is a GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. It starts right after this, here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And welcome back in. Jets Pizza here in Allendale. DJ Foster, Jeremy Bolker, head coach Ric Wesley. It's the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. We've got some good stuff for you on this hour. The Lakers up to 7-4 on the year, 3-1 in conference play with a tremendous road trip. And now we bring in head coach Ric Wesley. And, Coach, if all road trips were this good, we'd probably never play at home, would we?
Yeah, that was certainly unusual. I really don't remember another trip like that since I've been here. We've gone on the road before and won both games, but I don't remember a time when we won by such a great margin. So yeah, it was a great trip. Very unexpected to have the results be the way they were in terms of the point differential, but certainly we'll take it and happy with it and move on into final exams and back at it next weekend.
Coach, I wouldn't exactly call this the Budweiser hot seat question brought to you by Mervine Beverage. Enjoy responsibly, but maybe it will be. When you go on a road trip like this, don't most coaches say in certain types of situations, of course you want to win every game all the time, but on a road trip like that, if you split, you're probably doing pretty well. The fact that you come away with 2 victories, I mean, that's got to be just bring so much optimism to the program, the coaching staff. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is. What's the question, DJ?
You're surprised.
I think he wants you to just talk about the wins. Yeah.
I want to win.
Are you okay with the split?
No. I like to win. We like to win all the time. So if you lose the first one, then you're hoping for a split. But if you win that first one, you want to get a second one. And last year, we talked about last year a lot. We played pretty well. I have to go back and look at it, but I remember talking about during the season. We played pretty well in the first games of the week last year. Won some really big Thursday games, and then just didn't seem like we were able to to put it together for the Saturday game. So you end up splitting, and then you just can't make any. You just can't make any hay in the conference standings. You just kind of like, you just can't quite get over the hump. So it's so important. You got to string wins together, and to do it on the road, it always seems like it's a bit of a double bonus, particularly when that second game is against a quality team like Walsh.
Here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley, the segment brought to you by Cardinal Buses. Go in comfort, go in style, and go green. Go with Cardinal Buses. Coach, your defense obviously was terrific all weekend long. And the guy that's here with us, we're going to talk with him later, Juwan Starks, had a great effort, especially guarding Stedman Lowry on Thursday. We're talking the Hillsdale victory, 75-49, a game you led 40-20 at halftime. Really got off to a great start. And Juwan did an awesome job on Stedman Lowry, who's the GLIAC's leading three-point shooter going into the ball game. And Juwan held him to, and others, Chris Dorsey and Luke Reiskamp and some other guys switched on him too. But Lowry was 1 of 11 from the field and 1 of 7 from three-point range, and I thought that was just massive in this game.
Well, it's huge. He's clearly their top scorer, their greatest weapon. We've played him before where he's had good games. You follow the box scores, like you said. I mean, he's been putting up good numbers. It's funny, and when our game's over, you never saw it. So for some of our new guys, I don't know if they even appreciated what they saw because we really had him covered right from the get-go. Juwan, in particular, chased him around and matched his energy and was there on the catch. And he just didn't get anything easy. Start of the second half, there's a little bit of breaking the guts when he hit his one shot, and then we had a switch, and I think somebody else got on him other than Juwan. He got another shot off, and so I took a quick time out. I'm like, hey, no, let's not let that happen now because he's one of those kind of guys. Once he makes one or two, he can really string them up. And their team this year particularly really relies on him and really needs his offensive output. So, to do a good job on covering him certainly was a big part of our scouting report and our game plan.
And, Coach, we're starting to see, too, the contributions of, not only Luke, but had to have been pretty impressed here with Dorsey, how he's been playing.
Yeah, Chris had a really, really good week. We went into the trip, Zach West, who's been one of our starters and one of our better defenders and does a lot of things for us, had gotten a concussion in the last game, so we were shorthanded with him going on the road. And obviously Juwan really stepped up and did a great job. And then it also provided additional minutes for other guys. And Chris got in there and really took advantage of it. And the Hillsdale game came in, gave us a real lift. A lot of energy when he comes in the game. You can kind of just feel it with him. He's kind of a lively guy, and both driving to the basket and rebounding and defensively, just kind of picked up the pace a little bit, and then again it carried over again into Saturday. So, again, man, it's hard to say enough about how well we played in those games, and so many guys came in there. Justin Greason was another one in the first half, in particular. He came in there, really played strong. Played through contact, probably got fouled a couple times and missed a shot, but rebounded, put it right back in. Alec Marty played well. It seemed like everybody that came off the bench was in a good place, and you add that to good play out of your starters. Next thing you know, you got a nice win.
Well, just from a stat, DJ, not to steal your thunder too, but
you always do.
Grand Valley's bench, 34 points off the bench, and as we said there, off of Dorsey's 11, so that's a really good thing to see.
Yeah, it sure is. And, we're playing a lot of guys, and again, you don't ever be too high or too low. And we've come off 2 great wins. I don't know that we're going to, go undefeated, but that's a nice vibe, and there's a feeling that maybe we're starting to establish ourselves. Maybe our team identity is starting to take shape. I know from a coaching standpoint, we're feeling more and more comfortable about what we're doing and ways to use our personnel a little bit better. And, obviously the more consistent guys are, the easier it is to predict and anticipate, where they want the ball and so on and so forth. So, everything went pretty well last week. So, let's quit talking about it. We're going to jinx it, move on. So, again, we know we got tough times ahead. We got so many good teams, and look at the box scores of the other games and some of the things that are happening, and it quickly brings you back to reality.
Well, Coach, you had just 7 turnovers on Thursday against Hillsdale, and you out-rebounded them 49-30. 2 more, just great numbers for you. Obviously, Trevin and Justin Greason both had 9 rebounds, as we were talking about. You said how well Justin played, but you guys really controlled the boards, too.
Yeah, we did, which is surprising because we're not a real big team. Now, we haven't really played the big teams yet. I think most of the teams, the 4 teams we've played, Ohio Dominican's fine freshman is a bigger kid, but we haven't really played teams that are big and powerful. It's been more a little bit of a skill thing so far, which I don't know if that plays better to us or not. We'll find out. But I think as time goes on, you think of Saginaw Valley and Michigan Tech and Ferris and some of those teams. I mean, they're extremely physical and they have some good size. So it might be a different thing. But I've been happy with how we're rebounding the ball. We Trevin seems to be the guy that generally leads us, but a lot of guys are chipping in and getting balls in there, finishing plays for us. And I don't really care who gets them as long as we get them.
Right.
And we generally tend to be a team, kind of a gang rebounding type team. So that's encouraging. And then the turnovers, I think, is a real key for us. If you're not going to be big, then you need to win that turnover game. You can't be small and bad ball handlers. That's a bad combination.
Right.
So if we're going to be small, well, we better be efficient in terms of passing and catching the ball. And I think even as I go back and look at our game film after the fact, I thought, man, we're coming at you from a lot of places. We're pretty mobile. We're pretty scrappy. Man, we're a little bit of a tough matchup for teams that have certainly bigger players.
All right, when we come back, we will be talking more with head coach Ric Wesley about that win at Hillsdale. We'll find out about how practice was today, and then that win against Walsh as well. Break that down a little bit further. Don't forget, Juwan Stark's going to be joining us in the segment after that. You're going to stay tuned. Plus, we will tell you where Santa Claus is going to be. Santa Claus is coming to town on Saturday. We'll let you know where he's going to be exactly right after this break. This is the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley, all presented by Rivertown Honda here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
Nice job, DJ, on that description. Got a lot of moving parts going on right there. Welcome back, everyone. We're live at Jets Pizza in Allendale. Come on by for the Ric Wesley weekly special here. That's a large one topping for $6. All right, we promised we're going to tell you about Santa Claus. Well, guess what? Where can you find Santa Claus on a Saturday? Not have to wait an hour and a half or 2 hours for him to take pictures with him, but it's right at the field house, okay? It's right here in Allendale from 11 till 1. You can come by, visit with Santa, take pictures, and plus you're going to get free tickets to the doubleheader of Saturday basketball. It's going to be really good stuff. Tiffin, of course, going to be playing here, so you're going to get tickets to the women's game that starts at 1, and then the men's game immediately following right around 3 o'clock there. So that's pretty exciting. So, again, we'll try to remind you throughout the program, too, but mark your calendars there. You're going to want to spend the afternoon out in Allendale. Should be a fun time with Santa for Winter Wonderland. Well, I want to welcome you back into the show. Grand Valley now 7-4 overall. Impressive wins on the road at Hillsdale and at Walsh. As we talk a little bit further about these upcoming games.
Yeah, Coach, going into the Walsh game on Saturday, they were averaging 88 points per game. They were 7-1 overall. Their only loss was at Michigan Tech by 3 points, which is a tough place to win. And you came out and led the entire ball game. Walsh did not lead at any point. You led by nearly 30 points in the second half, and you finish it off with a 79-58 victory over the Walsh Cavaliers. Got to be your best win of the year, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so. Really, sort of a stunning game. A little bit of a different trip than we've had in the past. Normally we've played Walsh and Malone, and it's kind of a nice trip. They're both there in Canton, 5 miles apart or something. We kind of settle in. But this year, Malone has left the conference, so Walsh was, piggyback with Hillsdale, which is a pretty long ways away.
Right.
That doesn't geographically make a lot of sense. So after the game on Thursday, we had to make that long drive to Canton and didn't get in there till it was 2 o'clock in the morning. So, as a coach, you kind of worry about that. I'm not always a great sleeper, so I'm always sensitive to sleeping patterns. You want your guys to recover and stuff. So, that was a little bit different. And so then on Friday, we were able to get in the gym and shoot and stuff and do some things. And then the guys kind of lounged around on Friday, a lot of exam studying going on, so on and so forth. And didn't take our shoot around on Saturday morning and kind of let them rest. And obviously I think that was the right thing. So, and then to come out and play the way we did, Walsh, a high-scoring team, the leading scorer in the conference, and Zach Carter and Fletcher, their forward, I think was 4th or 5th in the conference. So we tried to focus on those guys, do the best job we can, and just like in the Hillsdale game with Juwan and several of the other guys really focused on Lowry. I thought we did a good job on those guys. Miles, Miller had the assignment of Carter for the most part, although we do quite a bit of switching, and Alec Marty took some time on him, and you weren't going to shut him down, but we contained him and didn't let him get going too much. And then Fletcher is really a handful, kind of an inside-outside player. And went back and looked at the film again today, and Trevin really did a nice job on him early in the game, just to kind of make his life, difficult.
Yes.
And that's so important, how you, the tone you set early in the game. And then as time went on, again, a lot of guys, Drake got on him, Lance got on him, a lot of guys guarded him. So, again, it was just our defense was solid. It just was solid, and I think a team like theirs that scores so much and is used to scoring so much, I think they probably got a little bit frustrated, and it kind of steamrolled on them a little bit.
Coach, additionally, too, there's one moment in this game where it seemed like everyone was sort of surprised, and we'll have to. Our next guest is Juwan Starks, but Miles Miller with a dunk in that game.
Yeah, fly slam a Miles. That was, yeah. I mean,
Were you pretty impressed with that?
Well, I've seen Miles as a good jumper. He's probably one of our better jumpers. If you did their verticals, he probably has our highest vertical, I would think. And after practice, the guys are always playing around, and I've seen him, on several occasions get up there and dunk it, and it's always impressive. But
now, if he misses it, then what happens?
After practice, nobody else in the gym, you're throwing the ball and bouncing off the ground. You got a pretty big margin for error. But in the game, when he got a breakaway there, he was wide open, and I was fairly confident that he was going to make it, I guess. So I know he was excited. Dunk's a funny thing, when I was in college, I remember our coach used to always say, I think my freshman year in college was when the dunk first came back in. It had been out for a while, and so it was a big thing. And I remember Coach Parfit used to always talk about a dunk can do nothing but hurt you on the road. That was one of his things, meaning if you ever miss one on the road, there's no benefit to ever trying to, Well, as time goes on, I mean, there's no question it's a bit of an exclamation mark kind of a thing. When you get one, it's kind of like, taking over their house, so to speak. So, so that was exciting. It certainly was exciting for Miles, but had he missed it, wouldn't have been so excited. I'm more comfortable with those guys who have a big margin for error.
Right.
His margin's not quite that big, but we had a pretty good sized lead at that point.
When we come back, we're going to bring Juwan Starks in. So give us a word about Juwan and how he started off his senior year.
Well, Juwan's doing a great job, and really in the last, 3 or 4 weeks, he's really settled into a nice role. He's playing the best he's ever played. He's I think it starts with the attitude that you bring to practice every day, and he's really made a conscious decision to step up his game in terms of his leadership and his being more vocal. And I think it's carried over to the floor. He's in a good place. He's enjoying himself. And more importantly, he's probably, he's staying healthy. Last year he had some bumps in the road. And I think the year of weight training and conditioning and just being at this level has helped him. And, he went down in the Hillsdale game and was a little worried about that, but there's more cramps than anything else. So his ability to continue to take good care of his body, stay healthy, is a big key for his success and for our team's success. But there's no question he's really taking it up a notch. And again, like we talked about on Thursday, his defense was was tremendous, chasing guys off screens. And he's getting blocks at the basket and things like that. So, man, it's all welcome and needed. And certainly we hope there's plenty more of that as we head into the conference.
Grand Valley State back at home this weekend against Tiffin, a 3 p.m. start on Saturday, and then Ashland 1 week from today, a 7 p.m. start against the Eagles. We'll bring in Juwan Starks when we come back right here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley. It's all here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And welcome back in the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. We're here at Jets Pizza in Allendale. The show is presented by Rivertown Honda. Got to get it at Rivertown Honda. DJ Foster, play-by-play voice with you, Jeremy Bolker, and we bring in senior guard Juwan Starks. Juwan, thanks for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
How we doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Two wins on the road. Can't do much better than that when you play two. And talk to me about what the team's, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but after you beat Hillsdale, you're going into the Walsh game, you get that win. I mean, that was a fun bus ride home. It seems like you guys might have a little bit more of a swagger now. It seems to be a lot of positivity coming out of the program.
Yeah, it all starts with our seniors, and seniors just keep preaching about pretty much just staying focused and staying locked in, and it's going to be a tough road ahead, so you just keep doing that.
We talked to Coach earlier in the first segment about Hillsdale and you guarding Stedman Lowry, their shooting guard who was leading the conference at three-pointers. And with Zach West out, that was primarily your responsibility defensively when you came into the game. When you filled into the starting lineup for Zach. You took on that challenge, and you did a really nice job. He was 1 for 11 from the field. I know Chris Dorsey guarded him a little bit, and Miles got on him a little bit. But do you enjoy that opportunity getting to go out there and really trying to take someone on defensively and shut him down?
Yeah, it was like a new challenge for me, so I just took pride in that and just like sacrificed a little bit of my shooting. So just took pride in starting off on defense and getting all the guys rowdy up.
Well, we're talking about how well the team is playing. Any difference today in practice, for example?
A little bit. We see a lot more guys being focused, a lot more confidence, guys doing stuff they usually don't do. But it's pretty much just a lot of guys just have confidence in each other and a lot of faith in each other.
If you could, tell us a little bit about how you got to Grand Valley. I mean, we do know you're from around the Aurora, Illinois area, and that's around from my hometown here too, up around the Chicagoland area. But if you could, talk to us about how you got to Grand Valley.
Well, I remember seeing Coach Wallace at one of my games when I was at Kishwaukee College, and I just had a real good game. I think I made like 7 threes and something like that. And he talked to me after the game saying, good job, this and that. And I think like maybe 3 days later, I got a call from him saying that we want to offer you a scholarship. So when I came in for the visit, I just pretty much fell in love with it. Just fell in love with all the guys. So just found another home pretty much.
Well, and if we could go back to your first game as a Laker, it was against Olivet, right? And
yeah.
you had a really good game that game, didn't you?
Yeah.
That had to have been like a good feeling, a good sign of things to come here.
Yeah, it was like a new experience for me, and I got a lot of confidence from the guys, and that game just felt real good for me.
Back here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, this interview with Juwan Starks brought to you by Earhart Construction, the official construction company of the Grand Valley Sports Network. Juwan, you're in your second year, obviously, as you transferred in last year. So you're a senior technically, and you're part of the class with Luke and Trevin and those guys. How do you feel your role has changed this year? Obviously, Coach mentioned you're healthy now, and that had to be frustrating last year for you, not being able to stay on the court consistently. But now that you're healthy, we're seeing what you can do. How do you see your role when you go out on the floor?
Usually just changes. I pretty much just take on any role, to be honest. And lately, just having a defensive role. Usually, I'm a shooter, or sometimes even a slasher. But right now, just defensive role, whatever needs to be done, and I just get it done.
And how have you been able to mesh with Luke and Trevin and the other seniors? Because there's some new guys here this year with Chris Dorsey, Lance Dollison, Danzel Wright, transfer as well, a couple in there. How have you guys been able to kind of embrace the new guys that came into the program?
It's pretty much a lot of leadership and sacrifice. Like, we all sacrifice either scoring or some part of our game just to make it work for the team. So
I was going to say, it seems like there's a little bit of an element of unselfishness that you guys, as long as you're getting the wins, it doesn't
that's all
matter.
that matters.
Yeah, because there was 4 double-digit scores on Thursday at Hillsdale, 4 more on Saturday, and you guys don't have anybody averaging more than 11 points per game, but as long as you're winning, I think that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
All right, we talked about it earlier, and Coach asked, or Jeremy asked Coach about this. When Miles went up for the dunk, I can't remember if you were on the floor or not. I know Chris threw it ahead to him. I can't remember if you were on the
I was
floor.
on the floor.
Okay. Were you thinking Miles was going to throw it down? Walk me through that play and kind of what you saw, too, because that had to be pretty fun.
I just saw this little guy just get up, and I'm like, I hope he doesn't miss it. I hope he doesn't miss it. Because
then we're all going to have to run, right?
If he miss it, probably after the game, soon as after the game, run the sprints or something.
Right.
So he made it, so we got the 2 points. That's all that matters.
Now, Coach said Miles may have the highest vertical on the team. Do you have something to say about that? Because I think you're probably up there, too.
I'll say we're tied, maybe. I don't give him the highest.
Okay. Chris Dorsey, is he in there now?
No,
not even close.
Not even close.
Okay. Trevin, we know Trevin plays a little below the rim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach Wesley has some nice things to say about you, and we're joined here by Juwan Starks here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, is that you really seem to be enjoying yourself, I mean, overall. And would you say that's the case?
Yeah, last year I had a tough time with injuries and just wasn't having as much fun as I'm having this year, and just got back to the basics and started having fun again. Just make sure I have fun first and foremost, and just keep playing hard and do what I need to do to help the team win.
Well, that leads me to the other thing too. Is it was another thing that Coach Wesley said was the attitude. Talk about how that has helped you along the way.
Just did a lot of growing up over the summer, and just especially with Coach Wallace and our former coach, Coach Bauer, just talked to me a lot about what I need to do to be successful on and off the court and after GV. So just took that upon myself and just did what I need to do just to help the team win or have successful and have fun.
Juwan, 2 weeks ago now, you guys beat Finley on Luke's game-winning shot, and then you lose to Ohio Dominican on a buzzer beater. How important was it to come back and get those 2 wins on the road last week after having such a tough loss to Ohio Dominican the week before, and just kind of the momentum it can build as we get through the rest of the season?
It was very important. We felt like we should have won that game against Ohio Dominican, and we just felt like we let that one slip away. So we was all really motivated. I think like the next day of practice, we just buckled down and did whatever we need to do. I think we had a real good practice that day, so it was pretty good for us.
So you're able to leave the loss behind and just kind of focus on the next step.
It didn't linger long. It lingered probably for like maybe a couple hours, and we had to get on to the next one.
Well, and that's really impressive too, because sometimes when you lose such a close game like that, an unbelievable game, it might depress you for a little bit. But man, you guys came out and just been on fire here on the road, which is awesome. And we want to make sure, folks, that you come out and see these guys here on Saturday afternoon games, and then the following week, Monday. As sort of a reminder, this will be our last Jets for 2016, and then we'll pick back the program up again on a Monday, January 9th here. But we will have just an abbreviated version of the Ric Wesley show next Monday, so you know. But then, of course, we want you to come out to the Monday night game. But visiting here with Juwan Starks, and want to throw right now a couple of questions to you. We call it the full court press, okay? We ask all your teammates this too, and we'll be getting some polls throughout the season here on some of these different answers. But the first one is, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Probably somewhere out the country. I just don't know where.
Okay. Well, probably not Russia. At least as of right now, until everything's smooth over there a little bit. But yeah, okay. All right, how about favorite class?
Actually, I like my PED 376 class. It's a management facility class.
Oh, okay.
I like that a lot.
Would you say, could that maybe be a lead into like a dream job that you have? Or what would be a dream job? Maybe it's playing in the NBA. I mean, what are some things that you'd love to do?
Well, I would love to play professionally someday. If not that, then be around the game of basketball somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly is. I mean, facilities and that type of thing and planning. No, absolutely. I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to make it a two-part question. A three-point contest where you get 5 shots from each point. Okay, so 5 different spots around the arc. Luke versus Trevin. Who do you think is going to win in the
Luke.
three-point contest?
Hands down.
Yeah, Luke.
Now, what if we put Juwan in? We can ask him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. That's my part.
that's your second
part.
part.
B.
My mistake.
Is now okay. Let's take Luke versus Juwan Starks. Who's winning that?
Oh, I'm winning that.
You're winning that?
I'm winning that, yeah.
Awesome. All right.
So Trevin's getting the bronze medal.
Yeah, Trev's getting the bronze medal.
Trevin's way behind.
With you being from around the Chicagoland area, what's one thing you miss most about the area? Could be a food. I know we got Doug Lipinski.
Is that
here.
the
He
only
loves
thing
the
you
Italian
wanted?
beef.
Could be a food.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably just have to say my family.
Yeah.
I miss my family a lot. Don't get to see them often, but other than that, talk to them a lot. But just my family, I miss them a lot.
Okay. And wrapping things up here with Juwan Starks, I would like one for maybe one team on the wish list and one personal, but what is one thing on your Christmas wish list?
As far as team, it's a GLIAC championship, of course. And me personally, just make the best of this year. Last year, just want to go out with a bang.
How about, is there something you want, like a new, iPhone 7 Plus or something like that? Anything like out of the ordinary?
Nah, I'm more of like a team-oriented guy, so
Got it.
share the wealth.
Okay. All right, and then this will conclude that is most overplayed song on the radio or in the team locker room right now.
It would probably have to be Drake's Hotline Bling, or
Really?
They're
That
still
is still
playing that?
going around, huh?
we got some crazy guys on our team.
You're a
so.
senior now, Juwan. You need to
Yes.
step up and shut that down a little bit because that's pretty bad.
Me, Trev, and Luke tried, but we got so many younger guys who just outnumber us, so
Wow.
it's kind of hard.
That's rough. That's rough.
Are people actually in the locker room doing the imaginary cell phone when you used to call me on the cell phone part of that song too? Or?
They made like their own little dances to it now too.
Really?
So Denzel.
You want to put him on blast? You want
No, I don't
let
want to put him on, but
All right, all right.
Wow.
You got the
That'd be
mic. You can go ahead.
Guys, we need something for the scoreboard up there too. We might have to do
Oh
some
my
undercover
God.
stuff. Well, anyway, I want to thank you so much. Really continued success in the season. It's been great having you come out, enjoy some Jets Pizza here, and thank you so much, okay?
thank you.
Thanks, Juwan.
All right, that was Juwan Starks joining us here on the
Thanks,
GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. When we come back, more with head coach Ric Wesley as we break down these upcoming Saturday and Monday night games, all here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
You just heard that call right there. Miles Miller throwing it down. What a sight. Welcome back in, the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. All brought to you by Rivertown Honda. We're here at Jets Pizza in Allendale till 7 o'clock, but the Ric Wesley show special goes till 8. And a reminder, just for clarity, if you come out and see Santa, he's got some gifts for you, not only free pictures, not going to be a super long line like at the mall or whatever, or have to pay for it. But come on out between 11 and 1. Santa is there, but you're also going to get tickets, free tickets to the upcoming doubleheader, poised at 1 and 3 o'clock. That is going to be pretty special. Again, Grand Valley taking on Tiffin.
Coach, I've got a Budweiser hot seat question for you. It's presented by Mervine Beverage. Enjoy responsibly. As Jeremy mentioned, I'm a little bit of a stat nerd, so I had fun with this. I don't really know how to phrase it, other than I'll just kind of straight up ask you in riddle form almost. how would you relate Juwan Starks and Trevin Alexander statistically? Because I have an answer if you don't have any idea where I'm going with this.
Them? I have no idea what you're talking about. One's a big guy, one's a little guy.
Apparently,
they're probably scoring about the same, I would guess.
They're close. They're close to the same.
They're probably shooting from the 3-point line, probably about the same.
Pretty close.
I would think.
Correct.
So
you want me to go? You want me to just go ahead and
go
with it? So there's 3 players in the GLIAC this season that have 10 blocks and 10 steals, at least 10 blocks and 10 steals. Juwan Starks and Trevin Alexander are 2 of those 3. C.J. Turnage from Saginaw is the 3rd one.
Wow,
that's pretty well-rounded.
Juwan's really been getting some blocks here lately.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a deceptive athlete. He's thin, he's kind of unassuming, and all of a sudden he'll show a burst of speed or leaping ability, and he's had some very impressive blocks. So that's good. That's a good thing. And Trevin catches you off. Trevin has pretty good timing and anticipation and great awareness. He sneaks up on some of his blocks. Blocks are good. They're blocking. That means the ball's not going in the basket.
13 steals, 10 blocks for Juwan Starks, 11 steals, 10 blocks for Trevin Alexander. Only one other player in the conference has done that so far this season.
DJ, you got to give yourself. These are some pretty neat statistics. We teased in the beginning part of the show. Grand Valley was number 1 in the country in a particular area. So let's do the spoiler alert.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us about some of these stats or some of the highlights?
2 particular areas, actually.
Look at that.
We, Coach, I don't know if you were aware of this, but number 1 in the country in scoring defense, 58.6 points per game, and number 1 in the country in field goal percentage defense, allowing just 34.9%. Small sample still, but at any point in the year, if you're leading that's pretty good.
Well, we had our 2 great teams that went to the Elite 8. I think 2 years in a row we led the nation in fewest points allowed and field goal percentage.
Right,
so
there you go.
To do it for a season is really something special. And those teams were, we had great players at every position, and LJ Kilgore just harassing the ball and driving the other team's point guard crazy, and so many good defenders, Jason Jamerson, Kyle Carhart, and Pete Trammell, and Mike Hall, and so many guys. And then if they screwed up, of course, you had the big fly swatter right there at the basket and Callistus. So, it was pretty easy to see why those stats were as favorable as they were in those particular seasons. And now, again, this year it kind of catches you off guard. I'm not quite sure why it's happening. I don't know that we have any one particular player that I think is really a phenom, or I don't want to discount our effort, but I don't know if individually we have anybody who I think is just an outstanding one-on-one defender. So it's really a kind of a team thing. We don't have a big shot blocker at the rim. We don't harass the ball and get the guy all befuddled and stuff. So it's really about position and effort. And I often tell our guys, and when it comes to defense, that so much of it is attitude and effort. And quite often, even if you're not individually a great defender, if you can get 5 guys trying really hard every possession, you have a chance to be a really good defensive team. And it seems like an easy thing, but usually you'll have a guy or 2 that you put out there, and for whatever reason they can't find their man, or they step out of a charge, or they won't rebound or something, and all it takes is 1 weak link, and the next thing you know, it seems like the other team's offense finds that guy. So, again, we're on a nice little roll here. It's nice to be up there at some point in the season. Hopefully we're close to the top when it all gets done.
I won't use the word dovetail, but I'll say to piggyback on that question, as well, Coach, conference, best in the conference right now for total assists, total blocks, total rebounds, and total steals.
Yeah, well, we've had a good little run. And, again, it's only been 4 games. As I look at, like I say, small sample size, and you won 2 big games, so you start to build your stats. There's reasons to feel good. There's also reasons to feel bad. I think we're dead last in free throw attempts. That one bothers me because I know, you go on the road, you got to get some free throws. Get the other team in foul trouble. You manufacture some offense. And generally, we've been number 1 in our conference in free throw attempts, even though we've never gotten a call in our favor. So I keep looking at that and worried about that. And then I look at Tiffin, too, the team we're about to play. And I don't know where they would be in the stats, but, I mean, they've had a tough stretch of games. So their record, overall record, probably not indicative of how good they are. So, you hit some patches in the in the schedule. Sometimes they're more favorable than others, but certainly recently here we've done a very nice job.
Yeah, when we come back, that's a good segue, Coach. We will talk about Tiffin and Ashland on our opponent breakdown right here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley. Come on back for more. We're going to talk the Dragons and the Eagles when we come back right here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And back here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley, DJ Foster, and Jeremy Bolker here with you. We're talking Laker basketball. Grand Valley State 7-4 on the year, 3-1 in conference play. Just two big road wins last weekend at Hillsdale and at Walsh, and they return home this week where they're 4-1 at home inside the Fieldhouse Arena. It's time for our opponent breakdown, brought to you by Two Men and a Truck, movers who care. And Coach, Tiffin on Saturday, Ashland on Monday, 1 week from today. A little bit of a goofy week because of the final exam schedule. And what did Tiffin do in their last game? They just beat the #1 team in the country, Saginaw Valley State. So it's not like it was going to be an easy homestand when you came back. And you had mentioned earlier, a tough stretch. Some of their losses, Tiffin's losses, are 2 points, 5 points. I mean, they only have one loss where they weren't really in it at Northwood. They've lost by 9, 2, 1, 8, and 6 in overtime. So they could easily be much better than their 4-6 record.
Yeah, they've really had a tough schedule here. You know, they played Quincy, who we also played, who beat us. They lost by 1 in a tournament, and they had to start the conference on the road. At Northwood, at Lake State. They played Lake State tough, had 93 points at Lake State. I don't know how you do that. And lost, which is it'd be a crazy game. And then, then the two home games they have Wayne State, who maybe is as hot as anybody in our conference right now, and then Saginaw Valley, who's #1 in the nation. They split those. So they've really had a tough schedule, but they've played good basketball. They've got outstanding athletes. Kennard, Howard, McCormick, feels like those guys have been there forever. They're very offensively explosive. They do some different things to you defensively. They're always a tough, they're a tough team for us every year. And like I said, they always have good athletes. I think that's probably the thing when I think about them. They're long, they're gangly, and they just keep coming at you.
As I imagine, too, Coach, it'll be exciting, too, to play these games at home here, too.
Well, it will be. It's a tough time, with the exam week this week. Basketball is a tough one. We play, for a long period of time. We catch the holidays. It's Saturday during Christmas season. So hopefully we're going to get some folks out there. I know a lot of our students will be heading home this week when finals are over. So, I can't imagine a bigger draw than Santa. Getting Santa in the house is huge.
No pun intended.
Let's hope we get some people out there cheering on it, because these games are big. These are big. This game Saturday is big, and then we come right back on Monday playing an Ashland team that last year had a great season, has lots of players back, and beat us in overtime last year. So the difference between winning and losing these games, it can be so small, as we saw in our last set of home games, and just having that little bit of extra energy in the crowd and a little bit extra noise and excitement and support behind you can make a difference between a win and a loss.
I'm not sure how much video you've seen yet of that Tiffin Saginaw game when you started to scout and everything, but what do you see as a strength of them? They have 5 guys averaging double figures. Is it as simple as that? They're just any player on any given night?
Well, yeah, I think that's it. We're kind of, I'm just starting to get into that now. We just kind of wrapped up, today in practice, kind of put to bed our trip and kind of went over our film, and then tomorrow we'll start a little bit more on Tiffin. We have an extended week this week, and with exams, there's no sense really trying to put too much in your guys' head. They've already got lots of studying and things like that to do. But I think, they have balanced scoring. And Kennard has always been an explosive scorer. And McCormick is a tough matchup.
Yep.
So I think they have veteran guys, and they come at you from a lot of different places. And beating, like I said, playing Wayne State the way they did, and then beating Saginaw shows that they're a good team. So we'll have to play our best, and we'll have to guard against a little bit of a letdown. We come home and we've had 2 good wins. We kind of lose some momentum this week by having a long week with exams. So to get refocused and come back and play with the same sense of urgency and energy and focus that we had for these trips, this last road trip, it's not as easy as you think, and we'll challenge the guys to get back to that place.
Well, Coach, but you got to look at too from a Tiffin standpoint. They're coming up beating the #1 team in the country. They might be up, for a letdown as well.
Well, maybe. I mean, that's why you play the games. As a coach, you're always concerned about everything. I mean, there's always. I told somebody today, coaches are a funny lot. We're generally kind of an insecure group, and you always think evil lurks around every corner. Something bad's going to happen. If you win, you think, oh my God, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get sick. We're going to, something crazy is going to happen. And if you're losing, well, man, there's all kinds of bad things happening. So it's hard to just ever settle in and just think, man, this is great. Because boy, it can turn on a play, on a game, a practice. So just to stay even keel, I keep telling our guys, not too high, not too low. Even within the game, and certainly over the course of the season, you just got to keep, develop good habits, come back each and every day, focused, determined. Work on getting to be a better player each and every day, and establish good habits, and those will carry you through in the games.
Well, and when we looked ahead to these games, we obviously knew how good Ashland was going to be, and they had won 5 straight before they lost a pair of games at home this week, but to the same teams, Saginaw Valley State and Wayne State. Obviously, they're treble partners, and they only lost by 7 and by 5 to them. And they lost their best player from last year, Wendell Davis, to an injury, but they picked up Ben Haraway, a transfer who was the GLIAC Freshman of the Year a couple years ago. So they're certainly going to be ready to go. So they're almost on the other side. You guys may have a letdown, so to speak, and they may be, raring to get back out there.
Greater sense of urgency,
exactly,
yeah. And then we know how good they are. I mean, they are strong and physical, and they got big bodies out there, and man, it's hard to score against them. Last year we played them in the last game of the year last year, and it was just, man, neither team could really score. It was kind of a slugfest. Their defense was as good, if not better, than ours. So, to manufacture a basket was, huge in that game. So, we'll see. Again, right now, we got to get through exams, get everybody through that. Got to get Zach West back going again now. He's back with us, and keep our other guys healthy. Our focus today was more on individual improvement. Like I say, as the season unfolds, I'd rather have, it's more important for me to have good players than it is to have good plays. So let's keep getting better individually, so that you bring more to the table, which ultimately will help our team.
And coaches, breaking down further, Ashland too. It's 6-3 overall. When you look at their overall players, you look at the top. They have a player averaging 13, averaging 12, and then the other one averaging 10. So really sort of a well-balanced team. At least looks like on paper. Yeah,
I think those wings, Boo Osborne and Hamilton, those guys are big, strong, 6'4", 6'5" players. They are really tough. They're tough physically. They defend well. They both can score. Their point guard Cook is, dynamic. He gets in that paint, and he really caused us problems last year in our game here. I was outside this summer working on my lawn. I had a neighbor came by, and I knew he played football at Ohio State. I'd never met him before, and he stopped by, and I said, hey, I introduced myself, and he said, yeah, I got a cousin that plays in your league, and it was a little point guard from Ashland.
Wow.
I'm like, oh yeah, I know him. I definitely know your cousin, but last year he really caused us problems. Yeah. He's so quick and fast, and then. And then you mentioned the kid that transferred from Malone. It was freshman of the year in a conference. So They certainly are a talented team. And, That's what we signed up for, and I think as time goes on, it's gonna get tougher and tougher, and so that's why it's so important to take care of business, get the wins that you can. Don't let them slip away, because before you know it, you're 3/4 of the way through the season. You can't make up for lost time. So any win we get, we're happy about.
Coach, what's this holiday schedule look like after the game Monday night? Where do things go from there? How's it work?
A little different this year. Your NCAA mandates that you have to take 1 week off. So we'll play on Monday. The guys will go home on Tuesday. They'll be home for a week. They'll come back, and then we'll practice for a few days. And then the fluke of the schedule, we don't play till January 7th. So they'll come back, practice about 3 days, and then we'll give them a couple more days off for New Year's Eve. Let them go back home again. Then we'll come back and get a good week. So we got a long break over the holidays.
So nice to get rested and get some
maybe
relaxation.
Maybe I'll go stir crazy. I don't know what I'll do.
Well, last thing, we only got about 30 seconds left. Biggest thing you want for Christmas from Santa?
I told my wife I need a new pair of sunglasses, a nice book, and something good to eat. That's about it. I got at this point in my life.
Keep it simple.
Wow, sunglasses, book, and food. All right. Hey, folks, that was great stuff. Hey, thank you so much, all the Laker fans out here tonight at Jets Pizza in Allendale. Remember, come out and see us January 9th. Monday, January 9th, we'll be out here again. All right, for DJ Foster and Jawan Starks and head coach Ric Wesley, I'm Jeremy Bolker. Thanks back in the studio. Have a great night, everybody, and go Lakers.